Welcome in to the McCready and Siskey Friday Live, brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, and also, as always, sponsored by the official sports betting partner of McCready and Siskey, betonline.ag. I will put the link in the chat. Hopefully, it shows up for you guys and you guys can see that. It's under Cisco Kid Media if you're on MPW Digital. You can sign up at that link I put, kind of takes you to our link. You can also go on Twitter or Bet Online. YouTube doesn't like the link too much unless Neil puts it up because he's under the MPW Digital account when he does it. But you can go there, get $250 of free bets plus 50% Bitcoin bonus when you sign up, no matter where you bet, where you play, all the good stuff. TikTok doesn't like the links either. So you need to go to Twitter or our Twitter account, McCready and Siskey Twitter or McCready and Siskey on Instagram, and you can sign up there. Helps the show a ton. And they've been a great partner, and you guys have been awesome. We've had a ton of signups. Thank you so much. So appreciate that. All right, normal Friday lives. There's nothing normal than what's going on. Normal Friday lives. I talk about the wagers and what we're going to do this week. I don't really have any extra than what I went over the show yesterday. I have a sneaky suspicion that nobody really gives a shit and nobody cares about talking about wagers and things today. So we're gonna let you guys run this live today. We'll do whatever you guys talk about, whatever you guys want to talk about. I will let you know that I purposely started this thing a little bit early today, in case Neil and Chase need to get on for whatever reason this afternoon, and so I can clear the airwaves for MPW Digital. I do. It is of my opinion that I don't think this meeting will be insignificant. I don't. I'm guessing that's me, my opinion. But I've put enough tea leaves together to get to that point. That's kind of where I'm at. We're there. Okay. All right. Let's hop over. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Miami and Notre Dame opinion. I think Notre Dame is probably Notre Dame. I understand the eye test, but you can't. I'm curious about the head-to-head stuff, and how they place it. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think when you beat a team head-to-head, I think you should be ahead of them regardless. But it is what it is. Um, when will Kiffin? This is from YouTube from MPW Digital, and remind all the people on MPW Digital, you're about 20 seconds delayed from from TikTok. You're on a 20-second delay where TikTok is truly live. So I'm going to just understand that when you're hearing my comments and asking questions. But Primal Pursuits says, when will Kiffin make a decision? I mean, it's half past the hour of making a decision, right? I think anyone with any common sense or normalcy would have already made a decision. It is under my opinion. I'm gonna stress that again. My opinion. I think he's made a decision. Um, when will it get known to the world? I don't know. I think probably why I started a little bit earlier. I think you could hear anything from 12:30 on. Nothing would surprise me at that point when things start getting out. So 12:30 on is kind of my. I've cleared my schedule this afternoon. How about that? I have cleared my schedule for the afternoon. How about that? Elaborate for those tea leaves. No, I hear things that come from different people, and I just put everything together. And it's been progressively going down. So I think that I would be surprised. I would personally I mean, again, nothing should surprise me with Lane being involved, because he is a different bird and beats to his own drum. But I'm almost to the point where I would be surprised if something didn't come out of today. Um, Lacey Yankee, I love meetings, right? I love meetings. I promise you this, they're not meeting to meet. I can tell you that. How do I think the meeting plays out? Reb 309. Um, Look, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I'll tell you, I had a really big Ole Miss fan that I really like a lot. Good dude. You know, he's like, I think Lane's going to. Let's take off our red and blue glasses. Let's take off our our Bengal Tiger glasses if you're watching. Let's take off our Florida Gator glasses if you're watching, and who else ever it applies to. What indication? I'm asking you guys this. So I'm asking you guys, I'm interviewing you guys in the chat, okay, in YouTube, MPW Digital, and TikTok. I'm going to ask you guys, what indication? This is a question for you. What indication has Lane Kiffin given you that he is going to be the coach at Ole Miss in 2026? The answer is nothing. Big goose egg. All right. Now, I'm going to ask the chat. I'm going to ask the chat the same question. Let's take off our red and blue glasses. Let's take off our Bengal Tiger glasses. Let's take off our Florida glasses. Let's take off whoever else. What indications has Lane given you that he's going to be coaching somewhere else? What indications has he given you that he's going to be coaching somewhere else? He's given reasons. So I don't like, I'm just being honest. Okay. If I was making the decision, if I was the head coach at Ole Miss and knowing what I know about the other jobs, which I've found out a lot in the last week that are open and all that stuff, I would have, when the second they I would have literally gone, I would have gotten the contract extension and sent it to my agent to look over and going like, "Hey, is there anything else we need to leverage here?" And if he said, "Yeah, whatever, okay, let's leverage it. Whatever we got to do, you got to do behind the scenes to leverage it." But I would have never given any indication that I was going to go anywhere else. I would have never done any of that. And then, like by the weekend, when the fans started getting upset and large donors who have given everything, like nothing but massive support to the university, and for the administration that's done that for a university that's literally given me everything I want and changed my life and helped me rebuild my life and all that stuff. When you see it start going the other way, you go, man, I don't want this. Where's the extension? I want to sign it. If you want to stay at that point, you would have signed the extension to avoid the fallout, not lose all this equity that you want that you built up over 6 years. You wouldn't do that. And so now it's gotten to a point to where, like, if he decides to stay, which I think he should, by the way, but if he decides to stay, like, this is like the world's dumbest PR move in the history of time because now he's lost equity with the fans. And so when he goes and loses a game that he's not supposed to lose, and it'll happen eventually, you're creating unnecessary chaos. And so I just don't I don't, that doesn't compute with me. Yeah, and I'm not doing that. And by the way, I meant to tell you, guys were brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. And I have a feeling that I'm going to need a rain today. I have a feeling that this is going to do me some good today. I have a feeling that I'm going to need it today. Um, Jacoby Holloway, Lane does not care about Ole Miss. It's a one-way relationship. I'm going to be honest. I don't know, right? I don't know. I've never talked to Lane. Hey, do you love Ole Miss? That's not definitely not our communication. That's just not how it goes. So, look, I think if you're being a realist about this, and if you're, it just depends on. I don't think there is a. I just don't think if he does stay, I don't think it's very like it's world's dumbest PR move. I would heavily lean that he's leaving, and I would heavily lean that it's going to be LSU. Herman, appreciate the follow on TikTok. Look at his past at the end of his jobs. They're all in messy. Well, here's what I hate. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. This is what I hate for him. Just to be honest, I think I respect the hell out of him as a football coach now. I want to make that very clear. I respect the hell out of him as a football coach. I think he's one of the three best football coaches, and we could probably, that's just because I'd have to think about the other ones of my generation. I think he's an elite football coach. And what he did at Ole Miss, and it wasn't just the coaching, it was the ability to get, with Keith Carter and Glenn Boyce and Walker Jones and everybody to get aligned, and what Realtree has the relationship with Realtree, and even how, and they probably won't say it. It probably won't get talked out there enough, but even like the Realtree relationship was able to, they don't get enough credit with how they helped with Aflac. You can't tell me, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. I haven't talked to Tyler and I haven't talked to Chase about it, but you can't tell me that Realtree didn't help with the Aflac thing. You can't tell me that. And so when you got all these pieces pulling together, they've Ole Miss should be very proud and not be. They should be a proud program right now, in my opinion. Very proud program. They've done everything that they can do, and they've done it well. And so regardless of what happens, it needs to be next man up mentality. Regardless of what happens, it needs to be we're going this direction. And that's how it needs to be handled. And so in my opinion, and I don't know, and I'm going to be fair, I don't know even when I was there in my past that I've been at Ole Miss, I don't know if you could have said that. But today, Ole Miss is the bigger brand, and people don't need to get that confused. Michael, next subject. Hey, Michael, read the room. Michael, read the room. Michael, you can leave, dude. Matter of fact, you don't have to leave. I'll make you leave. We'll see you. I mean, dude, I don't give a shit about you. Who are you? You're irrelevant. We'll see you. I mean, read the room, asshole. Um, Shay said they helped a lot. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, they're good people. Like, that's the thing is you got good people making good decisions. I think whatever happens, I don't think that um whatever happens, I don't think anybody needs to be like, oh, what are we gonna do? They're gonna be fine. Rudy is lane meeting with AD. Yep, in about 12 minutes. Oh yeah. JG Tate's swinger. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a daily thing on TikTok. I don't care. Um, LSU is a bigger brand than LSU. I'm a homer, but that's a little much in my opinion. No, my point is, I think LSU is a massive brand. Is that what you're asking? All right, he wanted to go to Auburn, but not take LSU. His daughter's spending every weekend in Baton Rouge. No, look, I've LSU's like. Here's the thing: is like I'm not. I want to make this very clear. I mean, he's more entitled to do whatever he wants to do. I think LSU's a big brand. Yeah, I think LSU. I'm not saying LSU's a bad job. I'm not. I have nothing against LSU. I think LSU's a great job, but I just don't agree with everything that's going on in the process. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I think it's a great. I don't have a problem with LSU. I think LSU is a great brand. I just think when you don't in today's world, and this is why I would stay. I'm going to ask. I think I get what you're saying is when I was saying about I think he should stay. Here's why I say that. Okay, is I think it's been. I don't think this is my opinion anymore. I think kind of everybody sees it. Um, Lane's Lane's what's the right word? Lane's perception is very important to him. Lane's perception is very important to him. In the event that he goes to Florida, he's never going to be Steve Spurrier. He's never going to be Urban Meyer. If he goes to Baton Rouge, he's never going to be Nick Saban. He's going to be another one, but if he was to stay at Ole Miss, hell, they're going to damn name the field after him before too long. Legacy, he has a better chance for his personal legacy at Ole Miss. That's one. Two is this is when you go like last year, and I keep bringing this up. Last year, he had Ole Miss probably had the second or third best team in the country, just roster wise. Did a great job. And he lost 3 games. He lost to Kentucky, he lost to Florida, he lost to LSU in Baton Rouge and missed the playoffs. Well, here at Ole Miss, it was like, "It's all right, Lane. Here's more money. Let's fire it back up again." You do that in Baton Rouge, your ass is fired. And then you're going to add another SEC game into the mix? Like it's that's something to consider for longevity. I don't know where this Alabama stuff's coming from. I don't have anything on that. I don't. I think that's complete rumor, and I'm pretty sore. Sorry, Buff. But he's a different cat, and he beats to his own drum. Ron, appreciate the follow. He's burned too much capital to stay at Ole Miss now. Well, that's the thing. Is like that's just common sense. I don't know if he does. That's what I was saying. If he does decide to stay at Ole Miss, brother, they like. I'm gonna be honest with you. He'll somebody's probably listening right now. In the event that he goes to that meeting in 9 minutes and he says, "I'm gonna stay," I know one of y'all are listening. Y'all need to sit down with him. There's about 5 people that can talk to him. Y'all need to sit down with him and say, "Hey, Lane, I know this is not what you do, okay, but you better release a statement saying I royally messed this last week up. This on me. I couldn't make a decision on what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be here. I needed to do that. I apologize to the fan base. I apologize to the donors. You need to be, I know this is not what you do, Lane, but you need to vocally look at the camera and apologize in the event that you want to stay here. That's my advice. That will gain you more capital than you've ever had before. It'll get it right back. But if you just sign it and move on now, that's not wise. So, whoever, I know y'all are listening, y'all better get to him and tell him that if he's deciding that he's going to stay. Just saying. No, I'm not texting him that. I'm not. Absolutely not. But look, he's got smart people around him, but he's got to listen to them. He'll see it. It'll get to him if he's staying. If he goes, he doesn't care. Trust me, somebody's watching. Um, Travis, what it is? My thing is, if he wants LSU or Florida with their track record, we'll have another chance in 3 or 4 years, coach the playoffs, and don't bail on your team. I don't think it's Florida. Um, I'll tell you this too. I can't do that. I don't think it's Florida. I would be, um, I'd be very surprised. I'll leave it at that. Very surprised if it's Florida. Very surprised. And if it is, God bless him. Let's go, Big Matt. Shout out to Cedar Bluff Tigers. Let's go. Cedar Bluff in the house. Let's go. Shout out. But that's close enough to home. Tell Trav I said, pull it out. Well, he's up there above you. You can tell him yourself. He's right above you. He's listening. You can tell Trav, pull out and spin the wheel. Does Chris Kiffin want to leave? I haven't. I don't. I haven't. One, I haven't talked to Chris. I wouldn't put Chris in that position. Look, I love Chris. I love Angela, the kids, Cookie, Bella Grace, all of them. I love. They're good people. I don't want. I don't. I purposely. I get in a weird spot when it comes to this. And for those that don't know, I'm going to tell you. Do I talk to friends about all this stuff? Yes, but I don't make the contact. If they want to talk to me, they got my number and they all kind of know the deal. I don't want to put them in a weird position to where, and it's kind of the same relationship that Neil and I have when it comes to like coaching search stuff and rumors about my friends. Like, Neil is awesome because he doesn't want to ask me things that would put me in a weird position. So in the event you hear rumors about somebody that I'm connected to, it's 99.9% it ain't coming from me. I just don't want to be put in that position. I don't want to put my friends in that position, and I just You know, I don't want to do that. Um, all the reasons that you just stated is why he's staying. Well, he needs to. If that's his only escape. If he wants to, he's got it's like this. He's backed into a corner, and he's got only one escape path on the Ole Miss, and he would, if he's staying, I would highly suggest he get up in front of the cameras and take some accountability for the way he's handled the last week. Ben, appreciate the follow, Brian. Great way to handle it. Much respect. Yeah, I just it's tough, man. I just don't want to put friend like I don't. I'm not going to ever be the guy that breaks news. I don't want to do that. I have no desire to do that. And there's things that I know that does mean it doesn't benefit me. Um, it's like the quote unquote meeting today. There are many people that knew about that meeting. I mean, I heard about the meeting, I think on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, the meeting that's happening today. And there's reasons that you're not supposed to say anything, and then it gets reported yesterday. I thought that was interesting timing, and by who released it. Alabama 7A semifinals tonight. Thoughts? Wild Black Cheer. This is going to blow your mind. I wouldn't even know who's in it. Roll mother flocking, as in Christmas trees. Wave, let's go. How about that? On the road to Temple today. On the road to Philly today. Do you think we find out something today, Tyler? I do. I'm going to be honest with you. This is my opinion. I will tell you when I know what I'm talking about. And I think it's opinion. I think this is my opinion. I do think there is resolution today. I don't know if it gets reported or not. It probably depends on what the resolution is. And but yes, it's not a coincidence that I'm going to do this from 11:30 to 12:30 today. I'm not going to be doing it past 12:30 today. That is of my opinion of me putting things together. That is not anybody told me anything. That is 100% honest. I don't think he wants to. Chamberos, I think Lane wants to coach the playoffs. Any coach would. I don't think it's him not wanting to coach, but like I talked to, um, I talked to a sitting SEC head coach yesterday. Okay, on the phone, and literally the whole conversation, not the whole conversation, but it's like, what? I asked this question. I was like, I'm not because I won't say what I said, but what if like you're getting ready to play your rival and you send your family to go look at other places getting ready? Well, like what school would that be okay with? And that's not okay. That's not okay. And that's the part. If he does stay, he needs to say, "Hey, that's on me. I messed it up. I handled things poorly. Um, whatever." He needs to address that if he stays. He needs to like without being asked about it in a press conference. He needs to like, "Hey, before we start the press conference today, like let's say in the event he stays, he goes in there in 1 minute and tells Keith, I'm staying, I'm signing the extension." His first press conference, instead of going and talking about the Egg Bowl, he needs to open the press conference with, "Hey, that's on me. I didn't handle that the correct way." And then that would people are forgiving, and you go forward and go win games because he's a hell of a coach. State can do the best thing ever next Friday. Oh, brother, you don't even want to get into that. You don't want to get into that. In the event that he's here. He better win that game. G man, appreciate you, boss. Um, just joined it. Did you miss anything? You did, Travis. Travis, you missed all kinds of stuff, dog. If you come over, no, you're good. I know who you are, MPW Digital. No, if you come over, come on over. I got a cooler full right over here. I got a cooler full. But I'm drinking my rain right now. I just want to go on record that I'm drinking a rain right now, Neil. You want to feel nothing? Hopefully, I have a feeling that it's not going to end for you anytime soon. I did clear my schedule though at 12:30 going forward, just in case. Um, let's see here. Oh, the chat is on fire over here. I can't even read the TikTok chat. Y'all are on fire. Does he go to Keith's office or Keith goes to him? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how that would work. Um, yes, call BetterHelp. Yeah, come on over. Neil, we can let's see, well, we don't have any ball on right now, but we could pull something up. We got the Christmas tree up in here. We're good to go. Auburn search has been pretty quiet. Good sign. No, um I think John Cohen has done a great job. I think he knows what direction he's going to go and they'll figure it out. The only thing with the Auburn deal is you always like it's not the only thing, but like Auburn beating Alabama, I'm going to always say that caveat. There's always an asterisk on that Auburn job. If Auburn beats Alabama, then what does it look like, right? So it's going to be interesting. Is Jimmy here for this? I have no idea. Yes, yes, I am. You're good. Yeah, you're good. All good. I can't say that on because I'm on TikTok and they'll ban us. But yes, yes, Neil, I am. Actually, right here, right next to me. Actually, just cleaned it. Actually, just cleaned it before I hit the button. Um, is Stoops gone from Kentucky? I don't think so. Again, I think he's good. Look, he's got and it's not just the buyout. His is due, like, he's got, like, I think it's 32.4 would be due, but in the first 30 days, if they were to decide to move on. I say that I think he's good, but in the event that he's not, it would be because they got emotional and they lost to Louisville and it didn't end well. They got beat this weekend, they lost to Louisville, and people got emotional. But that would have to be a hell of an emotion. TJ, in the past 10 years, only three teams won a natty with an offensive minded coach. Clemson twice and Ohio State last year. John would be a great hire. I would be hurt if we lost Pete, Joyner, and others. Yeah, like TJ, I think Lane gets a ton of credit, and he should. Okay. Lane's a hell of a coach, and he should. So I'm not saying that you should take credit away from Lane, but I also think there are many others that deserve credit for this run. Um, from the outside in, you got to start with Glenn Boyce, Keith Carter, and Walker Jones. Without those three people, none of this happened. Without Keith Carter, Glenn Boyce, and Walker Jones, none of this happens. Without Tyler Jordan, none of this happens. Without Pete Golding, none of this happens. Without Joyner, you got I think Charlie Weiss. I think the list goes on. Joe Judge. I think the list goes on. Lane has a lot of really good people around him, and to me, that's kind of the secret of what he's done. He's got the right people around him that's helped him be successful. And I just don't think they get enough credit. Lane deserves it. Absolutely, he deserves all the credit. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't recognize the other people. FSU or NC State, Anthony, I'm pulling for NC State, man. They're one of my clients. I got to pull for my guys. It's rough sledding over there. Hopefully this rev share is going to help NC State out. If NC State rev share is going to help NC State out. Freeze won and recruited here. Yeah, I mean, it's different times though. It's different modes, different times. Like it's totally different. Um, the way you build a roster now is completely different than what you built it in the past. Um, you gotta, you know, you gotta make a decision and kind of stick to your guns from an evaluation standpoint financially, and you can't really extend that. And you gotta go get the money and find a way to make sure you're spending it right. Big Matt 77, why aren't you still coaching? Oh, I'm a professional has been now. When I got fired and they were like, "Man, you can't coach anymore. You're a has been." So I was like, "Okay, cool." Yeah, I'm just a professional has been at this point. I'm good at it though. I'm a good has been. A good has been. I do miss I miss coaching. I don't miss all the bullshit though. And I enjoy being a dad. Remembered member of the Fire Football Coaches Association. No, I haven't actually. I have not done that. No. Mm-mm. No. But there's two kinds of coaches. There's two kinds of coaches, the ones that have been fired and the ones haven't been fired yet. It's just part of it. I mean, you know the drill when you sign up for it. I'm a pretty good has been. Jake, I'm a pretty good has been. I'm pretty good at it. Your son decided on a college yet? No, Ender. So he is either going to do West Point, the Naval Academy, or Ole Miss. He is hasn't gotten. I mean, he's waiting on the West Point and Naval Academy process to filter out before he makes a decision. I could come over and you could just end this, and it could just be Siskey, power per rank total body fuel. I have a nice ring to it. Oh, hey, hey, Neil, this is supposed to be your day off, dog. Neil's gonna have to go cover a basketball game to get a day off. Uh, that's great. Shaker Jack, I'm a has been, dog. Uh, T. Walker, do you feel that recruits are being told that the position coaches on the move likely to still be here with all the flip targets? Yeah. So, wow, that's T. Walker. All right, man, that's a deep question. A lot deeper than I'm trying to figure out. Let me think about how to answer that. All right, so, God, all right, so nothing is what it used to be. Okay, so anything how you thought this would affect recruiting, you can throw that out the window. Okay. And the only I don't, or it may affect, I don't know how Ole Miss is doing it. I want to make sure I'm clear with that. They're not a client. I don't know how they're doing it. With some schools, there are, and I'm not going to get into a burning match contest and all that stuff, but this rev share and collective and how people are securing services based on state laws and collectives with high school kids and NIL Go, there are going to be probably situations coming sooner rather than later. There's some gray area um, that could impact a recruit staying or going. I don't know. I'm unaware because I haven't asked what Ole Miss's path is. I know what other schools' paths are. So that's a very gray, murky question that doesn't really necessary. It's not uniform that applies to every school. We're in a big mess right now when it comes to collectives and NIL. I was going to save this for our show on Monday, but it kind of fits in this. Um, I know for a 100% fact that there are jobs that are open that are telling candidates, hey, we got this amount of money in third party NIL. And they're empty promises because they have no way of delivering that. I know of big schools that aren't clients. I'm gonna say that, so I'm not telling client business. Big schools that have they're in the red to the point to where they have millions of dollars to pay players that they don't have to deliver it. So they got the money, but they don't know how to get it to them legally. That's a problem. It's going to be a problem. And I think some of these there are open jobs that they show a balance sheet. This is what we have, but they don't have the way to actually deliver it to them, and it's a problem. And that is not an opinion. That is a fact. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. Um, to where a collective has X amount, all this money, but they can't actually get the money to the player. So what's the plan? The plan is they're hoping like hell that some of these guys leave, so they're actually able to get it to the players. They're over budget, overspent, and that's in the SEC. Just so you guys know, not a client. Um, what's your thoughts on how UK did their NIL? I don't know. I know they front loaded a ton. I don't know. Where do I think Summerall ends up? Same thing. I don't want to. I'm not gonna discuss John stuff. And if John wants me to know, he'll call me. When John and I talk, we don't talk about football. I know that probably surprises everybody. I'm sure if you probably had a friend and he was you, that's all you want to talk about. But we don't talk about that stuff. What is 12 personnel? Isn't that illegal? Get out of here, Rojo. Rojo, how are you, man? Rojo was the official. Like Rojo, I'm gonna give you credit, Rojo. Rojo was around on TikTok when we had nobody following us on TikTok. You've been trolling from the very beginning when we had like 300 followers, man. I appreciate you sticking around. You've been here the whole ride, Rojo. You've been here the whole ride, Rojo. I appreciate you, dog. You've been here the whole ride. I actually remember you because you were like one of our first trolls on TikTok. Appreciate you, dog. Your thoughts on Coach O possibly coming back? Yeah, I mean, if he wants to coach, he can coach. I mean, I that's fine. I mean, maybe he wants to coach. Siskey, I don't discuss jobs during the season. No, I don't have a problem. I mean, look, I know there would be nothing greater than me telling you everything I know, but I just, my friendships are more valuable than that. It's the same thing that goes with Neil. Neil's been great to me, and Neil knows, like, it's such a refreshing thing. Like, if Neil wasn't Neil, he would be anybody else would be like, "Hey, what'd you hear from this guy? What'd you hear?" Neil's awesome. Neil's so good at his job. Be honest with you, Neil's so good at his job, he doesn't need me. He doesn't need me. Like Neil knows information. Neil doesn't need me. He's Neil knows more. Neil knows more about my friends than I do. Facts. Neil knows more about my friends than I do. um think Franklin turns Virginia Tech around quick. I think Virginia Tech is committed to doing it the right way. They've invested a ton of money in the that they haven't done in the past. And look, I think James Franklin's a hell of a coach. I think Penn State screwed that one up. You can't have a, the one of the big things that's going to be interesting for me is how long is it going to take? I do think this is going to be a transformation time, but we're going to these nine SEC games, man. There's going to have to be like you're not going to be able to win every year. When is Lane's meeting is probably taking place right now as we speak, Josh. Um, how's that meeting going on? Well, I got it right here. I got the meeting on FaceTime right now. I'm watching the meeting happening right now. They're literally sitting across the table from right now. It's being streamed, live streamed right now. Fuck, I don't know. Hearing a team meeting has been called for 2:30. I have not heard that. Um, Neil's got their Social Security numbers. Good. Iron Bowl thoughts. I do think from a football standpoint, it's not a good matchup for Alabama's offense. Alabama's got to figure out a way to run the football, which I don't know at this point. It's kind of who you are. Alabama's got holes. One being the running game, and then protecting the quarterback and drop back passing game. The tackles are not very good. Um, there's no volume on your meeting live stream. Yeah, I got it on mine, but I got it muted. Pay per view, yeah, that'd be great. They would set all kinds of records if they did pay per view. That dude, hey, Matt, you could be onto something, Matt. Could you imagine how much, let's have an honest, how much could Keith Carter and Lane Kiffin charge to have that meeting live streamed? They could make like all of their money for the next year's rev share. That is a great idea, Matt. I mean, missed a complete opportunity right there to raise money. Oh, could kill it. They could kill it. $1,000 a seat easy. I could kill it. That'd be great. Uh, let's see here. Will Lane get 150 million? Oh, I don't know. That would be a 10-year, $15 million deal. No idea. No idea. Well, I think regardless of what happens, he's getting paid, so he's not going to be worried about where he's eating for the rest of his life. Giving away $1 million ideas for free. I tell you, Matt, you need to like, what do you call it? Trademark that. Um, my question is, why fire a guy and don't have a guy in line? Uh, oh, you gotta like, no, I mean, it's because you make an emotional decision. I mean, that's the truth. I'm assuming I don't know what you're asking, but that would be why. Sambo, you're drinking orange dreamsicle right now. Me too, boss. I think I'm gonna need it today. Uh, Joseph, favorite Iron Bowl memory as a player at Auburn. Shit, I was the best bench warmer in the history of time. I was an awful player. I was terrible. Um, favorite Iron Bowl memory. I mean, I don't know if I even have one. Last one we got beat in Birmingham in the Iron Bowl. We had a lead and they came back and beat us. Um, as a coach in the Iron Bowl, I'm 1-1. Kick six was not fun. That one still hurts. Like literally, that one sucked. Um, cost me a lot of money. And then the next year was a shootout in Tuscaloosa. I don't really, I wouldn't call it like it's not even. It's weird. I know it sounds crazy, but like when I was at Auburn as a player, the Iron Bowl was not even the biggest game of the year because we didn't have many like most of our players on that roster at that time were from Georgia, and so the Georgia game was a bigger deal to players than the Alabama game. I'm sure it's changed over the years, but at that time, for our players, like people on the team, the Georgia game was bigger to the players because everybody's from Georgia. Um, Imagine LSU having 10 draft picks on a roster and losing 3 games. Yeah, I mean that's the world we're in, boss. Clutch camp, what it is. Which one do you like better, Siskey? Quinshawn Kiffin or Lane Judkins? Oh man, yeah, I'll let y'all handle that one. Chase from TikTok. When Gus was there, most of the players were from Florida. Yeah, most of ours when I was there was we had a massive. Like not joking. Most of the players were from Georgia, and I would say most of I don't know if the actual numbers because of walk-ons and all that stuff, but most of the good players were from Georgia. Uh, Neil is currently throwing himself down the stairs. Kathy, thank you for the follow. What do you think about Bryce Underwood, Travis? I think he's a hell of a quarterback. He's a freshman um, that just needs development, but he's an immense talent. Knowing Lane, the meeting hasn't even started because Lane is late. That would be par for the course. Uh, land, land don't. I worked at the Target in Tuscaloosa during the kick six and have never seen people walking around so sad. Brother, that was Yeah, I have still never watched the play, and I won't. Like, it's just out of principle. I don't think people. I think it's funny to people that I haven't watched it, but that's scar. Like, literally of all the losses, that one's the worst. The most I've talked about it, I think, a few times. I don't remember where or what. The eeriest thing to that, and is I remember, like I said, I was in the box. I remember slapping Kevin Steele on the leg and saying, because Adam Griffin, for people that don't know, if you're new to the channel or whatever, you don't know, like Coach didn't do that by accident. Adam Griffin had hit that in pregame. Like Coach has notes of where they hit, like he knows the distances and stuff. So he hit that in pregame from the same exact distance, and I think he had 2 more yards in him. But anyway, long story short is, um, I literally, like, in the timeout, I knew what we were doing. In the timeout, I dropped my headset and I slapped Kevin on the leg. He was sitting next to me, and I said, "In about 60 seconds, there's not gonna be another Van Tiffin. It's gonna be Adam Griffin." And I was like, "He's gonna hit this thing right here. We're gonna walk this thing off." And I I don't know. I was probably about the I think we're in the visiting box, so like the minus 35 or 40 or somewhere around there. And I'm watching to my right. And when you're on the road as a coach in the box, you can't see, and this is tidbits that the fans don't know, you can't see if the ball's good or not. It's hard to judge. So as a coach, you kind of learn to watch the fans. And so if you are on the road, the fans be yelling. It's like free throws. They'll be yelling, yelling, yelling. And if it's going down the middle, the people behind the goalpost will just stop. If it's hooked or missing, they'll keep going crazy and get more crazy. When he hit that, and I looked at and that's the student section. He was kicking into the student section. When he hit that, everybody went dead still. And I was like, he made it. I literally, I got ready to stand up. And then when it fell short, we practice it all the time. When it fell short, I'm not going to throw my guy under the bus. We practiced this literally the day before in the walkthrough. We practice it every Friday, covering a kick, and you cover it like a punt. You have a contain guy that kicks it back into everybody, fitting inside out. And I was on the headset. And I said, "We're good." I'm not going to say the player's name. I said, "He's there." And he was in position. He was there. And for whatever reason, he jumped inside and lost contain. He was trying to make a play and he fit it wrong. And when he fit it wrong, we had everybody else fitting off of him. So we had everybody else coming, inside out. He's supposed to funnel it back to everybody going, and he jumped inside and just gave him the whole sideline. And as soon as I saw him jump inside, and that was at about the 35 or 40-yard line. Like I saw him come out, I saw him come up. I literally took my headset off, I closed my folder, and I got up and walked out of the press box and got in the elevator because there was nobody left to stop him. And I was in the elevator, and the elevator, if you're on MPW, it was going like, I mean, the elevator was doing this. I mean, it was just shaking. The stadium was shaking. Everybody got in the elevator. We went down, and probably the most eerie thing of all time is we got out of the elevator and we walked with no security. We walked from the elevator to the locker room, like outside the stadium, like down the hill, going towards Foy Union. If you're an Auburn fan, going towards Foy Union down that little hill, and did not see another soul. We walked for a quarter of a mile, and there was not one person outside of the stadium after the game. Not one soul. We walked for like a quarter of a mile, did not see another person, like in the public, and that was eerie. Um, and by the time we got, I mean, it was unique, different experience. Um, All right, I'm gonna go 5 more minutes, and I got a hard off at 12:30. I'm clearing my schedule for the rest of the day. So whatever questions you got, now's the time. You got 5 minutes, and then we're gonna end the stream in case we just need to do it. Yeah, it was wild. How many of the 11 players on the field goal unit actually the kick was caught? how many of the 11 players on the field goal unit actually thought the kick was caught and being returned by? No, everybody. You knew it. You talk about it before you went out there. They were everybody was doing their job, and just one guy at the last second jumped inside. I would have hated to be in that post game locker room for Bama. Yeah, it sucked. It sucked. We were a good team, man. That's the best team I've ever been on. We were good. We just didn't put it together that day. Had one bad day. Had one bad day. If it was a playoff system, like the 12 team back those days then we'd have won a national championship that year. That was the best team. That was the best team I've ever been on. We were good. Siskey, what's your percentage on Kiffin staying, leaving as of today? 0 to 100. I don't think he's staying. I mean, I would say 0% if you ask me. And that's opinion, not sourced. If he stays, good for him. But I'm 0 100 on where I'm at mentally. That's where I'm at. Did I play at Auburn? No, I was the best shitty player ever. Like when I went to Auburn, they just like, man, I feel sorry for this guy. Like, come on out here, man. Look, we'll just come on out here. We'll let you sit on the bench. And I was good at like I put the towel on my head, and I was professional. Kept you sunburn off because if you sit on the bench long enough at Jordan Hare Stadium during day games, that sun comes right up over your neck and it burns. So you were able to put. I was great at putting a Gatorade, towel over my head and letting it sit there. I was terrible, terrible player. They were just very. They were just overly nice to me. They just let me be there and be a part of it. I was awful. Um, let's see here. T guns like radio. Yeah, I mean, I don't want. I don't want to go that far. T guns. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It wasn't like that. But uh, Trey, what it is? Trey Wallace, welcome. How you doing? Hope you're doing well, sir. Trey, where are you at? Where are you located these days? Um, Jimmy Sexton deserves a Grammy with what he's doing. Well, it's not Jimmy Sexton's fault. He's doing his job. I mean, I know everybody gets mad at Jimmy. Jimmy's doing his job. I like Jimmy. I don't have a problem with Jimmy. Jimmy's doing his job. I mean, it's not. Some of this isn't orchestrated by Jimmy. I can promise you that. Um, what's your best NFL play of the week? Pull it out, Trav. I wouldn't even listen to myself on the NFL plays. I'm not doing very well. Best NFL play of the week. I like the Colts plus 3.5 against Kansas City. I think that game at worst is a 3-point game. I just don't see. I don't see where I don't think Indianapolis loses it by more than a field goal if they don't win outright. Most memorable game as me as a player. Most memorable game for me as a player. Probably the one I don't remember. I had a really bad concussion that I don't remember. That's probably like I remember weirdly, I don't remember even games I coached. Like I remember if we win or lose. Like I don't remember. There's a lot of deep. Like I'm like the opposite of McVay. Like when McVay, like, hey, 3rd and 8, second quarter, 2004, you were a left hash, minus 38-yard line, and can reiterate the play and all that stuff. I'm like anti that. Hell, I can't remember scores of games. I can remember like particular things. But what's weird is my worst concussion that I ever had. I can remember that game damn near play for play all the way up until when I had a concussion. And I can remember about half of that play. And then I don't remember anything that occurred for like the next 24 hours. That's kind of weird, but um most memorable, I don't know. We were not very good when I was at Auburn. I don't know. Nothing that's like, hey, coaching more, obviously. Um, Apparently his family is in Baton Rouge right now looking at houses. Todd, come on, dog. I Come on. Why has Summerall not signed with AU? Is he dead set on us? Because he's coaching at Tulane. Guys, nobody's gonna sign. Nobody's gonna sign. This is so weird. All right. I appreciate everybody for everything. I'm gonna hop off here. I said I was gonna get off 12:30. I'm gonna get off 12:30. Appreciate everybody. And I'm gonna close out with this to all the Ole Miss fans out there. I know there's a bunch on MPW Digital, bunch on TikTok. I can see you coming through. Um, Regardless of what happens today, regardless of what happens today, I think you should be extremely unified and proud of the people that have the people that have the best interest of the university at heart. I think they've done a phenomenal job. I think with the Glenn Boyce, Keith Carter, Walker Jones, Tyler Jordan, and all the people, um, all the Pete Gold. There's a lot of people in place to keep moving forward. I would not always remember um, that a coach rents the whistle and the brand moves on. And I think one thing to keep your, I know that coaches get credit for a lot of things, but those people have moved the brand to where the brand is bigger than any coach. And just keep that in mind. I think they've done a great job. Something to be commended. And I think the fans have unified. I think, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The one thing that was really cool when I came the first time with Freeze is it didn't matter who we were playing. That place was packed out. The fans were all in, bought in. And for whatever reason, I know why now. But I remember when I came back and I was like, hell, there's nobody here. First game, like, hey, what the hell's happening? And then they're back. And so I think the fans deserve a big pat on the back too. Um, and so, hey, just keep plugging. Everything's going to be okay. You'll be just fine. So no matter what happens, just keep chugging along. So appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. And we will talk to you, I imagine, soon. Take care.